请举手。可以欢迎你们来。那以前有来过我们中心的请举手。哇，也很多，欢迎你们来。
For those who have not been here before, we opened the center in March of 2013 with the instruction from His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche. His wish was to establish a permanent center in Los Angeles, a place where the weather is mild and traveling is easy. Rinpoche proclaimed that Rinchen Choling will be benefiting many sentient beings for a very, very long time, even after we pass. We hope you will enjoy coming here as it is the culmination of Rinchen Rinpoche's loving kindness and compassion to benefit all. We also hope you will join our practice and events often.
若是你们不知道的话，我们的中心是去年3月份成立的。那基本上就是由噶千仁波切给我们的指示。那也很因为这个中心对我们非常跟我们非常有缘，那我们也很幸运的能够把这个中心接手下来。那仁波切说，这个中心不只是在我们在世的时候可以用，即使在以后我们往生了之后，这个中心都会继续的开下去，能够让更多的众生还有我们的同修能够来这里修法，学得佛法。
For those who were here for the grand opening last March, did you notice the difference? Yes, we add 2 Buddha statues, Medicine Buddha and Amitabha Buddha. We have also changed arrangements in the temple to make it more like a Tibetan center. We will soon having the chance to make lamb offerings to the Buddha 24/7. We will also welcome 9 additional Buddha statues next month. This is a place where we hope to make people feel warm, welcome, and loved whenever you visit. We also hope you will be part of the team to help spread the Buddha Dharma and Rinpoche's compassion for all. We hope you will all be Dharma guardian of the center.
若是各位同修去年3月份来过我们中心参加我们的开幕仪式的话，你没有发现哪里不一样吗？有哈，有是因为我们多加了一尊药师佛的大的佛像，还有另外一个是阿弥陀佛的大佛像。我们除了这个之外呢，我们还把这个中心做得我们把它装饰得更像西藏的庙宇。那我们比如说我们旁边加了一圈的这个西藏式的装饰等等。还有我们这边呢自从我们中心这边开幕了之后呢，我们这边能够让您供灯一周7天，1天24小时。那我们还有更多，我们还有9尊的佛像陆续都要进来我们中心。那我们希望你能够各位同修能够帮我们宣传我们这个中心，能够让更多的人能够来这里学佛法。谢谢。
There are different ways to be guardian to support the operation of the center. The first way, like Rinpoche stated Wednesday night, is to come and join the practice. The second way is to be a volunteer, to reach out and help others make connections with the Buddha, Dharma, and Rinpoche. You can like us on Facebook. You can forward the teaching information to your network. And you can certainly invite friends who are interested or currently curious about Buddhism to come check out the center. The entire center is supported by volunteers like Laura, Lisa, and Grace, and so on. And we can use more help. The third way is to support the center financially. We still have loans close to 700,000 that we need to pay back to our kind lenders. You can make donation while accumulate merits. This including sponsoring the lamp offerings on the wall, be part of the team sponsoring the Buddha statue, your name can be put on the statues, or make candle flower offerings. We make the teaching at the Drikung Rinchen Choling free, so people can benefit from Buddha Dharma without financial burden. Would you like to be one of the Dharma guardians to help the center? However you help the center financially, we pray that it will help you make connection with the triple jewels and generate inconceivable merits. In the back of the temple, we also have a bookstore with lots of Dharma goodies. It is a fun and good way to bring a piece of the connection with Rinpoche, Rinchen Choling, and Rinpoche home. Most of the items are donated by various sponsors to help us raise funds to support the center. We hope you will help us out in whatever way you can.
各位同修，因为时间的关系，我必须要简短的翻译。基本上有3种方式可以来帮助我们的中心。第一个呢，就是像仁波切礼拜3说的，尽量能够参加我们的法会，这是第一点。那第二点呢，就是让您的亲朋好友知道我们的中心，能够来这边学的佛法。那第3个方式呢，就是用赞助的方式，让我们偿还我们还有将近70万的这个贷款，我们必须要把它还掉。那基本上我们先到这里，仁波切要下来了。再来就是请将你的那个手机关掉。Please turn off your cell phone or to the airplane mode without using any Wi-Fi, due to we're streaming online. So if you pick up our Wi-Fi, it's going to slow down the bandwidth. 谢谢。
Thank you. And more than about close to 100 people check into our streaming. So we are really sharing the teaching with people, students all worldwide. Thank you for helping out. Bathroom is there. If you need to go to there during the break, please help yourself. And lunch is upstairs. You could have lunch upstairs, but please be very careful about the cushions. We borrow it from other centers, so please keep them clean. Thank you. when we do the lamp offering prayer later, Rinpoche would chant the first time, and we just listen to Rinpoche chant. The second time, Lama Thubten Nima would lead us chant together in Tibetan. 那等一下要供灯的时候，仁波切会先唱这个供灯的偈颂。第一次我们先听，第二次我们跟着图登尼玛喇嘛一起唱，那唱藏文藏音。Opening prayer, prayer book, page 4, Tibetan, Chinese, and English. Then we'll do the 37 Bodhisattva practice.
All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Now, 37 Bodhisattva's practice.
Chinese first and then English. 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。谁见诸法无来去，唯一勤行利众生。殊胜师即观自在，三门恭敬恒顶礼，利乐资源诸缘觉，重修正法而出生，以义依赖知其行。是故当说佛子行。
English. Homage to Lokeshvaraya, homage to Lokeshvaraya, homage to Lokeshvaraya. At all times I prostrate with respectful three doors to the Supreme Guru and the Protector Chenrezig, who, though realizing that all phenomena neither come nor go, strive solely for the welfare of migrators. The perfect Buddha's source of benefit and happiness arise from accomplishing the sublime Dharma, and as that accomplishment depends on knowing the Dharma practices, I will explain the Bodhisattva's practices.
获得暇满大洲时，自他未渡轮回海，昼夜恒时不懒散，闻思修饰佛子行。
At this time, when the difficult to gain ship of leisure and fortune has been obtained, ceaselessly hearing, pondering, and meditating day and night, in order to liberate others and oneself from the ocean of cyclic existence, is the Bodhisattva's practice.
心方贪心如水荡， 愿方嗔心是火燃，取舍皆忘痴黑暗，抛弃故乡佛子行。
The mind of attachment to loved ones wavers like water. The mind of hatred of enemies burns like fire. The mind of ignorance which forgets what to adopt and what to discard is greatly obscured. Abandoning one's fatherland is the Bodhisattva's practice.
舍恶尽故见简惑，无懒散故散智真。心诚于法起正见，依净处为佛子行。
When harmful places are abandoned, disturbing emotions gradually diminish. Being without distraction, virtuous endeavors naturally increase. Being clear-minded, certainty in the Dharma arises. Resorting to secluded places is the Bodhisattva's practice.
常伴亲友各自散，群聚财物宜为基。是客舍弃深客房，舍此是为佛子行。
Long associated companions will part from each other. Wealth and possessions obtained with effort will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will cast aside the guest house of the body. Letting go of this life is the Bodhisattva's practice.
教尽彼而三毒争，且令闻思修退转。能使慈悲灭尽者，远恶有为佛子行。
When evil companions are associated with, the three poisons increase. The activities of listening, pondering, and meditation decline, and love and compassion are extinguished. Abandoning evil companions is the Bodhisattva's practice.
依止何者罪过灭，功德真如上玄月。圣善之事即自身，爱彼圣己佛子行。
When sublime spiritual friends are relied upon, one's faults are exhausted and one's qualities increase like the waxing moon. Cherishing sublime spiritual friends even more than one's own body is the Bodhisattva's practice.
志意束缚人回顾，世间神奇能救谁？有此依止不欺者，皈依三宝佛子行。
What worldly God himself, also bound in a prison of cyclic existence, is able to protect others. Therefore, when refuge is sought, taking refuge in the undeceiving triple gem is the Bodhisattva's practice.
诸疾难忍恶趣苦，能人说为恶业果。是故众欲命难时，终不造罪佛子行。
The subduer said that all the unbearable suffering of the three lower realms is the fruition of wrongdoing. Therefore, never committing negative deeds, even at peril to one's life, is the Bodhisattva's practice.
三界乐如草头露，一瞬刹那毁灭法。恒时不变解脱果，追求其为佛子行。
The pleasure of the triple world, like a dewdrop on the tip of a blade of grass, is imperiled in a single moment. Striving for the supreme state of never-changing liberation is the Bodhisattva's practice.
无始以来持我者，诸母若苦我何乐？是故为度诸有情，发菩提心佛子行。
When mothers who have been kind to one since beginningless time are suffering, what is the use of one's own happiness? Therefore, generating the mind of enlightenment in order to liberate limitless sentient beings is the Bodhisattva's practice.
诸苦源于欲自乐，诸佛利他心所生，由此自乐与他苦，如实交换佛子行。
All suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. The perfect Buddhas arise from the altruistic mind. Therefore, completely exchanging one's own happiness for the suffering of others is the Bodhisattva's practice.
谁以大欲解我财，或令他夺一切财，己身受用三世善，仍回向彼佛子行。
Even if others, influenced by great desire, steal all one's wealth or have it stolen, dedicating to them one's body, possessions, and virtues accumulated in the three times is the Bodhisattva's practice.
无虽无有少过旧，他人尽我头，以悲心故彼诸罪， 自身代受佛子行。
Even if others cut off one's head when one is utterly blameless, taking upon oneself all the negative deeds by the power of compassion is the Bodhisattva's practice.
何者于无生毁谤，虽广宣扬遍3000，仍复无以持心故，任彼得是佛子行。
Even if someone broadcasts throughout the billion worlds all sorts of offensive remarks about one, speaking in turn of that person's qualities with a loving mind is the Bodhisattva's practice.
何者于众集会中，皆无隐施恶言相，于彼还生亦有想，恭敬其是佛子行。
Even if, in the midst of a public gathering, someone exposes faults and speaks ill of one, humbly paying homage to that person, perceiving him as a spiritual friend, is the Bodhisattva's practice.
吾以如子养妇人，彼若是我如愿愁，犹如母怜重病儿，辈辈悯是佛子行。
Even if someone for whom one has cared as lovingly as his own child regards one as an enemy, to cherish that person as dearly as a mother does an ailing child is the Bodhisattva's practice.
于无同等或下列，虽怀傲慢假欺凌，吾仍敬彼如上师，恒顶待为佛子行。
Even if, influenced by pride, an equal or inferior person treats one with contempt, respectfully placing him like a guru at the crown of one's head is the Bodhisattva's practice.
恒受贫苦为人妻，复遭重病及魔侵，众生诸苦己代受，无却若是佛子行。
Though one may have an impoverished life, always be disparaged by others, afflicted by dangerous illness and evil spirits, to be without discouragement and to take upon oneself all the misdeeds and suffering of beings is the Bodhisattva's practice.
美名是扬众人敬，财物量等多闻天，然是寺庙无实意，离交慢是佛子行。
Though one may be famous and revered by many people, or gain wealth like that of Vajravana, having realized that worldly fortune is without essence, to be unconceited is the Bodhisattva's practice.
倘若未服内称敌，外敌虽服玄真胜，故应树心慈悲君，降伏自心佛子行。
If outer foes are destroyed while not subduing the enemy of one's own hatred, enemies will only increase. Therefore, subduing one's own mind with the army of love and compassion is the Bodhisattva's practice.
一切妙欲如咸水，任己受用可转增。于诸能生贪着物，顿舍却是佛子行。
However much sense pleasures are enjoyed, as when drinking salt water, craving still increases. Immediately abandoning whatever things give rise to clinging and attachment is the Bodhisattva's practice.
诸所显现为自心，心性本离细论边，知己当于二取相，无作意是佛子行。
Appearances are one's own mind. From the beginning, mind's nature is free from the extremes of elaboration. Knowing this, not to engage the mind in subject-object duality is the Bodhisattva's practice.
慧欲越欲之境时，因观犹如下石红，虽现美妙然无实，舍贪着是佛子行。
When encountering pleasing sense objects, though they appear beautiful like a rainbow in summertime, not to regard them as real and to abandon clinging attachment is the Bodhisattva's practice.
诸苦如梦中上子，妄执实有极劳累，是故慧欲为原实，是为幻象佛子行。
Diverse sufferings are like the death of a child in a dream. By apprehending illusory appearances as real, one becomes weary. Therefore, when encountering disagreeable circumstances, viewing them as illusory is the Bodhisattva's practice.
欲证菩提身上舍，何况一切身外物。 不忘回报与义守，布施即是佛子行。
If it is necessary to give away even one's body while aspiring to enlightenment, what need is there to mention external objects? Therefore, practicing generosity without hope of reciprocation or positive karmic results is the Bodhisattva's practice.
无戒自利尚不成，欲行利他成效柄。是故无世间希求，守护戒是佛子行。
If lacking ethical conduct, one fails to achieve one's own purpose, the wish to accomplish others' purpose is laughable. Therefore, guarding ethics devoid of aspirations for worldly existence is the Bodhisattva's practice.
欲享福善之佛子，一切损害如宝藏。于诸众生无怨心，修忍辱是佛子行。
To bodhisattvas who desire the wealth of virtue, all those who do harm are like a precious treasure. Therefore, cultivating patience, devoid of hostility, is the bodhisattva's practice.
唯求自利小乘事，见情犹如旧头燃。为利众生功德缘，发起精进佛子行。
Even hearers in solitary realizers, who accomplish only their own welfare, strive as if putting out a fire on their heads. Seeing this, taking up diligent effort, the source of good qualities, for the sake of all beings, is the Bodhisattva's practice.
以知聚集之圣观，能尽摧灭诸烦恼，远离无色界四处，修禅定是佛子行。
Having understood that disturbing emotions are destroyed by insight possessed with tranquil abiding, to cultivate meditative concentration that perfectly transcends the four formless absorptions is the Bodhisattva's practice.
若无智慧以五度，不得圆满菩提果，故具方便离三轮，修智慧是佛子行。
If one lacks wisdom, it is impossible to attain perfect enlightenment through the other five perfections. Thus, cultivating skillful means with the wisdom that does not discriminate among the three spheres is the Bodhisattva's practice.
若不细察己过失，以行者貌行非法，是故恒察己过失，断除其是佛子行。
If having merely the appearance of a practitioner, one does not investigate one's own mistakes, it is possible to act contrary to the Dharma. Therefore, constantly examining one's own errors and abandoning them is the Bodhisattva's practice.
因或说于佛子过，令自违犯且退转，已入大圣行者过，莫议论是佛子行。
If influenced by disturbing emotions, one points out another bodhisattva's faults, oneself is diminished. Therefore, not speaking about the faults of those who have entered the great vehicle is the bodhisattva's practice.
贪图利尽复争执，令闻师修业退转，故于亲友施主家，离贪着是佛子行。
Because the influence of gain and respect causes quarreling and the decline of the activities of listening, pondering, and meditation. To abandon attachment to the households of friends, relations, and benefactors is the Bodhisattva's practice.
出语伤害他人心，复伤佛子之行仪，故于他人所不悦，断恶言是佛子行。
Because harsh words disturb others' minds and cause the Bodhisattva's conduct to deteriorate, abandoning harsh speech that is unpleasant to others is the Bodhisattva's practice.
烦恼串习则难治，是执念之对治见。贪等烦恼出萌时，即铲除是佛子行。
When disturbing emotions are habituated, it is difficult to overcome them with antidotes. By arming oneself with the antidotal weapon of mindfulness, to destroy disturbing emotions such as desire the moment they first arise is the Bodhisattva's practice.
总之何处行何事，因观自心何相状，恒具正念与正知，成办利他佛子行。
In brief, whatever conduct one engages in, one should ask, what is the state of my mind? Accomplishing others' purpose through constantly maintaining mindfulness and awareness is the Bodhisattva's practice.
如是勤修所生善，为除无边众生苦，悉以三轮清净慧，回向菩提佛子行。
In order to clear away the suffering of limitless beings through the wisdom realizing the purity of the three spheres, to dedicate the virtue attained by making such effort for enlightenment is the Bodhisattva's practice.
追随经序论典义，及诸圣贤之教授，为利欲学佛子道，撰此佛子行萨期。无慧浅薄少学故，闻略难令智者喜。然依经典教言故，佛子行诵应无谬。然诸弘阔佛子行，自浅如我难测故。唯离无关等过失，祈请诸圣贤宽恕。吾以此善愿众生，依圣二谛菩提心，不住有极之边际，等同护主观世音。
Following the speech of the Sublime Ones on the meaning of the sutras, tantras, and their commentaries, I have written the 37 Bodhisattvas for those who wish to train on the Bodhisattva's path. Due to my inferior intellect and poor learning, this is not poetry that will please scholars. Yet as I have relied upon the sutras and the speech of the Sublime Ones, I think the Bodhisattva practices are not mistaken. However, because it is difficult for one of inferior intellect like myself to fathom the depth of the great deeds of Bodhisattvas, I beseech the Sublime One to forbear my errors, such as contradictions and incoherent reasoning. By the virtue arising from this, may all migrators become, through excellent conventional and ultimate bodhicitta, like the protector Chenrizik, who does not abide in the extremes of existence or peace.
Okay, now Rinpoche is going to do on Buddha wall light offering ceremony, opening ceremony.
接下来仁波切会开始来带我们启用这个的这个仪式。
开始。
仁波切。哇！
这里。
The red light represents Buddha Amitabha, and the blue light you saw earlier represents Medicine Buddha. 你们刚刚看到白光化成蓝光，代表药师佛，再化成红光，代表阿弥陀佛。希望大家都能够在药师佛及阿弥陀佛的光照之下获得平安喜乐。We pray that you be blessed and under the light of Buddha, Medicine Buddha, and also Buddha Amitabha all the time. Thank you.
好，第一眼关就好。 Rinchen 序比较长。
人间珍宝所成，此书犹供灯。其愿等同3000世界间，其愿书犹如无边大海。灯心巍峨妙高如须弥，十方诸佛圣尊佛目前，一盏油灯光辉且明亮。上至三有巅峰之顶起，下至无间地狱一切处，光明遍满，无明黑暗所。愿见十方菩萨显言。唵边扎阿罗给阿唵。
May this precious vessel become as vast as the entire universe, the oil within it like the endless sea, and its wick as large as Mount Meru. May 100 million of such lamps appear before each Buddha of the 10 directions, their light dispelling the gloom of ignorance throughout all places of existence, from up above the highest peaks down to the hells of endless pain. And may they reveal the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. Om Vacha Alokem Ahom.
照菩提心之灯心上，佛五身任运安住火然，众生心性广阔之油灯，内圣清净法界之殊油，自生本质光芒照耀时，现上师本尊空行护法，弥补衰损次二种成就。Om Guru Deva Jagini Dhamma Pada Saparivara Aloke Jati Jaswara.
The pure oil of the Dharma Dhatu pervades the open space of being's basic nature. The 5 forms of the Bodhisattvas spontaneously abide, ablaze upon the wick of precious bodhicitta. When the light of self-originating wisdom blazes, I present it as an offering to the Gurus, Yidams, Dakinis, and Dharmapalas. Please mend transgressions and bestow supreme and common siddhis. Om Guru Devan Dakini Dharmapalam Sabarivaram Alokam Praditsa Soha.
玛后，此其意稀有光明灯具，尽现根本贤劫千佛等，一切浩瀚十方净土之上师本尊空行与护法，以及坛城本尊等圣众，祈愿六道恶趣诸有情，从今直至所有未来世，现见一切如来之佛刹，与无量光护主无分别，三宝与三根本圣众之威望极为崇高如虚空，以真谛力所发此愿望，祈请加持此刻即成办。迪亚达本扎吉亚阿瓦婆达那亚梭哈。
Emma home, this wondrous and amazing light shining brightly, I offer to the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate age, and to the Gurus, Yidams, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, and the Mandala deities in the endless pure lands of the 10 directions, leaving none aside. In this life and in all future lives, may sentient beings of the 6 samsaric states directly see the Buddhas and their pure lands, and may they merge with the protector Amitabha. Grant your blessings so that by the truthful power of the Triple Gem and the deities of the 3 roots, whose glory soars sky high, this prayer may be fulfilled without delay. Deyata Pensondriam Awa Buddha Naya Soha.
Now, prayer for world peace and welfare. First Tibetan, then Chinese and English, 3 times.
接下来世界和平祈请文，请义工发世界和平祈请文。第一次是藏文，第二次是中文，第3次英文。
Does everyone have that?
世界和平祈愿文 ，World Peace Prayer。
Nina
持正果。
The three jewels and three roots, trustworthy source of refuge, and in particular the Lord of the land of snow, Avalokiteshvara, Chetintaram, and Guru Padmasambhava, I supplicate you, please follow your previous pledges. Bestow blessings that this aspiration prayer may be fulfilled most perfectly. Due to the degeneration of times when thoughts and deeds of beings are perverted, and the inner and outer elements have lost their balance, man and cattle are seized by epidemic disease previously unheard of, intruding Rahus, Nagas, powerful demons and dark forces, blight, frost and hail, bad harvest, warfare and so forth, erratic rainfall, heat, misery and droughts in the world, destruction by the elements such as earthquakes and the threat of fire, and in particular barbaric offenses causing harm to the teachings are rampant. May all types of harm and injury around the world be swiftly pacified and overcome. May precious and supreme bodhicitta spontaneously arise in the mind streams of all beings, human and non-human, and may they be free from destructive thoughts and deeds. May all be endowed with a loving mind for one another, and may well-being, glory, and prosperity prevail throughout the world. May the Buddha's teaching spread far and wide and ever last. By the truthful power of the three roots, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by any root of virtue existing in samsara and nirvana, and by the power of our perfectly pure highest intention, may the fruition of our supplication and aspiration be attained.
Choling Battering also Choling Mamma Bogina Regional Chotochibani Dong Gang in Choji Shane did that also Shinsata is the Jandro, they gave about the Choling to the Takasham Yori. This topic Kosong Tokti. 공바 모두 가는 신사다를 저기 신사들을 가르치고 그래 신사들은 사운답사래 사운답을 가리는 걸 사운 충충 듣다나 근데 천만 보는 거 요래 삐세서 이게 초지 현지 그도 좋아서 초지 현지 이들한테 다다 가와한테 봐 그런 건다 그 수는 Juratinitaga Sena Shep. There's a Yokata, Tamsin or Suna Bujut Hako, Kata, Deva, Tam, David Jewish body. Donna Tammy Chu, the real Moki, Deva in the Chini Jate for her son. Juti, Jutin Jevati, Metal Sound of Sound, Shinsaya Potomena, then a metal sound with the Colorado. 그런데 사원이다. 그래서 그 생긴 단체를 사원도 대칭도 못하래. 요는 어떤데 계속 동이 콜라도 그래. 콜라 마도 체드 들이 고송 토팅 고바고데 라서바 신사다를 해서 들이라 소랑삭 신사다를 동고를 해서
So my Dharma friends, today at the center, in the opening we have made a prayer, a lamp offering and prayer in the beginning, also to inaugurate the center. And so what is the purpose of a center really? What is the meaning of a center, Dharma center? It is like in our refuge tree, a field of accumulation. So it is like a field. For example, we have a tanka of the refuge stream that is and it is just such a field, an established place or a field of accumulation of merit. So center is like a monastery where we rise, we raise the holy forms of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind. And so then what are we supposed to actually do at the Dharma Center? It is like a field in which we must plant the seeds. And when a seed is planted, then many fruits proliferate and many more seeds proliferate from that. So we can understand the Dharma Center to be like a field of accumulation. It is called, we are called those, in this prayer it was said, the fortunate ones. And we are fortunate because from our previous good merit we have some wisdom. And with this wisdom we understand the causes of merit, of virtue. As we mentioned yesterday, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. So in brief, the purpose of the Holy Dharma is to introduce to the workings of karma, cause and effect, is to show the two truths. So according to the sutra vehicle, we say it is the causal vehicle of characteristics. So it is the cause, which is like a seed, that leads to the result of a flower. And so this center is like the basis, the foundation, or the field where we can plant our seed, so that the seed does not go spoiled, does not go wasted. And so just like a seed, actually all sentient beings possess that potential. Their mind is like a seed, the Buddha nature. But then if they do not utilize this well, then this seed becomes wasted. So in order not to waste this seed, we establish such a field where we can put that seed, we can plant that seed. And such a field of accumulation is a Dharma Center. A Dharma Center is like a monastery, a temple where we establish the representations of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind. And so this is how we can understand the Dharma Center. It is like a field of merit or of accumulation.
诸法友，诸直贡宝法林的法友，我们今天在这个中心一开始的时候，我们有供灯，并且献上祈愿文。那么我在这边跟大家讲中心，所谓中心的意义是什么呢？我们在受皈依戒的时候有讲到资粮田或者是福田，它是一个可以让我们累积福报的地方。如同佛学院一般，是在一个可以让我们研究佛的身口意的地方。它也像一个田一样，我们可以在这里种下种子，以滋长我们的福德。我们就像在这个祈愿文里面，供灯祈愿文里面讲到，我们是非常有幸的，因为我们过去的一个善业能够有足够的智慧跟功德能够来这里，我们也发愿愿众生都能够得乐及有乐因。我们心中的我们这个看到种子的时候，它有将来长成花的这种潜质。这个中心就像一个田一般，是可以让我们播种种下种子，而不让这个种子浪费，或者是说毁坏的。那这个种子也可以帮助我们找回佛性。如果我们不去耕耘的话，那么就浪费了我们这个种子了。所以一个中心就像佛学院，也像寺院一般，可以让我们在这里建立起佛的身口意。
이제 다 주토를 가려요래. 주토라 고조선 요래지. 뭐 고조선 되네. 상제당 주당 견준선래. 근데 새 고조선다 상제 거적거지. 새 상제래. 지 가리치 그래. 자기가 좀 추래. 추가를 내좀 내시게 요래지. 좀 내가 맥지. 근데 추디 이렇게 못해다. 견준 바래. 오늘 견준바가 가르쳐야 돼요. 견준바시 받으랬더니 견준쇼가 오고 밥도 견준이 되는데 고쳐라. 人品的扩张，这个嘴巴拉说话，这样子就不怕什么有人，对了。这了的呢，错啥去把的，他错看啥过的呢？我错了的呢，当地要把的这里当地的，这了的呢，曾经他们街上街跟我路讲，桥人差不多差的有嘞，哦，这里这些个他们错啥去把的，例如了，这把的经济就脱过有嘞，这了这把的经济，说个都看过有嘞，他那个我们这里么可能那些。这了么好不得，来了没呢？就这个什么的一切乱么看，那他种地就不好拿出话，他得了的呢，某些居然不要吃都不要嘛嘞。这边呢，得了的呢，这里谁错少八的，谁错少八的，当我说外面敲啊那些，那个就话吃了汤水了的呢，那个你上这个我就把他了的，谁错少八的。这了这里让人全把全没拉出吧，但没到都不拉出吧，谁就把这了这里那个拖个地方拖个脚，是还有嘞，男的干嘞，哦，弄一个地方了，就这个地方还好呢，上去送了的呢，在家里让人说的嘛，到了的呢，哦，就别去把嘞，这种他地方他那里觉得，说这个做过嘞，弄一个东西用我多钱，这了这里让给，这个就去把这东西就放弃吧。这种浪潮过来，这了第二错啥不他的介绍的人呢？这我说错些把的，那还些个还搞用嘛的，哦，这人家就把或者传人了这套用啥，这3万人把错啥把这咖喱套路用的了，相当人家套路用的，是啷个叫了的呢？别人呢，相当人家觉得咖喱的错啥把咖喱的呢？细人的那个3米人的这里，他把这个身体点操作很有的，我们那个看见对吧？真的操作很有的，别人就把他那哦，叫什么什么差不多，这到就把搞你有的，这个他把这个身体给点哦，叫什么咱别弄的，人家我把他干么的，我把他肉了，我这里上出身体给我这个你有的。这种叫错啥不他的了，上手这个节才什么，那个拖了个地方他都长期光放，拖个这样人工的有的，那个错什么，那个地方上拖了，这样的，他把其中去把身体说，这错啥他的身体加其中的，别的加其中嘛的，这心里要过来，身体加7万的，他把钱包的。身体上的屁股上是把钱包的，我那就要10万张屁股，那是把钱这个多少不他的。
So then, once the center is established, what is there at the center? At the center, there is the establishment of the 3 jewels. The 3 jewels are at the center. That is the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We can understand the outer 3 jewels. For example, the Buddha was an outer form of the Buddha. But what did the Buddha do? The Buddha taught the Dharma. And the Dharma is basically teaching on karma, cause and effect. It opens our eyes to karma, the nature of karma. And then the one who has entered the Dharma practice is called a Sangha. And then what does a Sangha do? We always talk about what the Sangha does. We call the Sangha a noble or supreme Sangha, superior Sangha. Because the Sangha is superior as the Sangha has cultivated an altruistic mind, patience, love. And that is what we call merit or accumulating merit. It is because we cling to a self. All sentient beings cling to a self, even though they possess Buddha nature. Their mind temporarily is like a block of ice. So we need a way to melt that ice. And the way to melt that ice is to accumulate merit. And that merit is to cultivate faith and compassion. And that is difficult to accomplish. It is difficult to practice that because through the force of our karmas, we find ourselves in unfree states. For example, there are 8 unfree states. But even if we are free of those unfree states, we still encounter various temporary conditions and incompatible circumstances that always prevent us and do not give us the opportunity to practice. So we, for the most part, never really actually have an opportunity to practice, and most people do not even make a connection to the Dharma. So we must therefore also accumulate the outer forms of merit. And in the Amitabha Sadhana, for instance, therefore also this is explained, that by accumulating the outer forms of merit, the outer accumulations, temporarily in all our future lifetimes, we will close the doors to the 3 lower realms. For that purpose, we first accumulate the outer accumulation or the outer merit. For example, we are making light offerings, or we offer flowers and incense and so forth. These are a way to accumulate merit to create a temporary happiness of the higher realms. And then there is the inner practice, as opposed to the outer now, and that is to understand karma, the truth of karma. As the Buddha had explained, also in the 37 Bodhisattva practices, it is important that we understand karma. And for that, it is important to understand what is happiness and the causes of happiness, and suffering and the causes of suffering. And then having understood that, to practice that, to create the causes of happiness and to avoid the causes of suffering. We obtain a path that we must practice. We use this path to practice merit. And so how do we practice merit properly? Because many times we don't actually really know what merit really actually means. It means to accumulate merit. Because we think, for example, today I'm making this offering and tomorrow I will have my result. So this is not exactly how it works. How do we actually accumulate merit, and what actually is merit? Merit means what we get, what we obtain is not a certain result, but what we get is a mind of wisdom and compassion. That is what we get when we accumulate merit. And that is the merit. And so we cultivate a certain intention and a way of thinking deliberately. And that is the intention that distinguishes the Mahayana from the Hinayana in terms of the accumulation of merit. Because, for example, we could do an act of offerings, we can be generous, but we could have a different intention. We could be generous because we hope that in a future life we will be rich as a result. But if we practice the Mahayana, actually, we know that it has no benefit in thinking about the future life in this sense. Because even if we are rich in a future life, we are still not liberated from samsara. So a Mahayana practitioner really wants to become free from samsara altogether, a sense of liberation. So that is what marks the difference. It is how we cultivate our mind. And basically, whatever virtue we practice, like making offerings and so on, if we seal this practice with bodhicitta, there will always be a twofold result. That is, the temporary result of happiness in the higher realms, and then the ultimate result of enlightenment. And so it is said that what determines the distinction between the vehicles is not the size or the degree of our offering or what we do. It is about our mind generation. So the difference lies within the way in which we generate or develop our mind. Not about what we actually do and how great the things we do are, but it's the mind. And if the mind is vast and encompasses all beings, wishing for the benefit of all sentient beings, then it is a Mahayana practice, a Mahayana intention. If we only are concerned about some temporary benefit, like some benefit in the future life for ourselves, then it is an inferior intention and not a Mahayana intention. So this is the right way to accumulate merit.
当一个中心成立的时候，是有些什么样的元素在那里呢？一般来讲就是所谓的三宝，也就是佛、法、僧。那我想大家都很熟悉所谓的外三宝。以佛来讲，那佛做些什么呢？佛陀就是教授我们佛法、教授我们道的人。那么法的内容指的是什么呢？主要是含藏着因果业力的道理。那么谁来修法呢？修法的人就是可谓僧团的一份子，或者是圣僧伽。我们之所谓讲说圣，是因为它要累积慈悲、累积资粮的。众生虽然有佛性，但是暂时因为执着一些烦恼，让他心性坚固如冰一般。怎么办呢？我们要用慈悲心来融化。一般人有遭受八难之苦，那么失去的自由。即使今天我们没有八难，也有五阴炽盛随时在改变的这种变苦。那么透过法来连结呢，可以让我们离开这些痛苦。所以，但也不见得是所有的人都可以这样做，所以我们必须要先累积一些资粮。在阿弥陀佛修诵极乐国法里面有讲到，要累积外在的福德，可以不堕三道。那我们今天一般透过供灯或者是供香的方式来累积资粮及福德。当然，它暂时来讲呢，可以帮助我们往生善道，不堕恶道。这是从外在的来讲呢。那在《佛子行37颂》里面也有提到，我们应该了解因缘业力的重要。我们也除此之外，我们更必须去了解什么是快乐，以及快乐的原因，怎么样能够得到快乐，远离痛苦。这个方法就是道。那我们依着道来修法，否则不知道功德为何。那我们进一步要了解的是功德到底是什么，要如何来累积。一般人讲说，我或许今天做了一个好事，明天就应该得到好报，不见得是这样子的。我们所谓的果，在这边指的最究竟的指的是智慧跟一个悲心，这样子才是我们所应了解的果。那么而不是说今天我做的一件好事，明天我自己就得到好报，这是一种小圣的心态。我们大圣的心态是要长养我们自己的慈悲跟智慧的。小圣也希望说将来好能够得利，可是大圣行者一般不求将来好，而求远离轮回。那要远离轮回，我们就要知道如何来修心。我们要如何来长养我们的菩提心？菩提心长养起来之后，就短暂来讲可以帮助我们受生善道，就近来讲可以帮助我们解脱，获得正悟。我们所谓的圣、大圣、小圣，这个圣的大小，并不是以供品的多寡而定，而是由我们的发心而来的。如果我们心大的时候，含藏所有的众生，那这就是一种大圣的心态。如果只是为自己的利益而求的话，那么这是一种不正确的，这是小的，所以我们应该要回小向大，这是一个正确的这个法。
그래서 수능에서 이번 레벨 가지리다가 그렇게구나. 이거는 다다가서 딸이라마 샵디나고 피인당 내가 말인 종원에 다다 스스로 피마다 내가 가리도 물을 못 치는 예세니 되라. 랑그 른 나타내 봐 세마도가 베베 내가 좀지기 요네하게 본조성의 되는 종류에 본조성을 가리질 때야 우리야. 가리게 본조성의 산지에 취지용을 사바던 hin기를 남기네. 그 삼바다 hingi 다고 야 대 다고 야니 삼바다 hingi를 띠네 동제 세바 진대를 띠네 야 저처럼 띠네 물을 야 요바를 띠네 도당 거 동디바 짐바라 띠니 다 론도 클라스와 포동 초바스 물린디게 소리기 용디 동제 요바데 삼바다 hingi를 띠네 산지가 추지 삼문기 추르지니 다다 대화 중대 요거 삼바의 문제를 중앙을 내도 많이 벌었지니 해당도 차도를 내도 대화 중 거의 시작 말이지 랑긴 오랑을 때나 하고 오 대화 같은 기분이 삼바의 문제를 중앙을 내지 봐 데르티네 톱도서 어떤 니 거저서 나도 고저서 가지 내좀 되고 되게로 딱 같이 내좀 되면 미시 고저 캠리니 요리 여기 율 삼바의 문제 요라 대그 초가 로아를 두고 지와던 거야. 전호지를 저도 좀지바 게임바 탐지 예동와 이어 사반인지 동지 요나 대도 대변적이 요리 들리도 뭐 뉴마 톡키는 똑똑똑 빨아달라서 뭐 뉴마 쇼크를 뒤라서 네 좀비 기적 삼버라서 인시 랑갈 문적 레저 왕도 라는 레크 대다고 내도 사원도 접고 되게 저 초시바들이 사지를 나오나 이 저한테 다다 대왕아 저한테 톱도 마음을 내면 저지 아마 사바의 인지 강의 정도는 사바의 인지 마키와 지어 탑야 로도나 봐예 저와 만약에 탑도바 파실 쪽 공도 배배 탑상하대 강의 정도 사지게 답이 출리라면서 소장 가서 라기를 많이 조금을 어떤 추토시 받을 폐기도 이제 뭔가 몇 달을 있는 달을 해서 근데 내렸지 추토 가요나 메디우바를 체크 가려고 되나 메디우바 찍게 짧게도 마시는 정도 메디우바 찍게 줘봐봤나 뒤선지 되는 줘봐봐 줘봐야지 가리도 소리 꼴줘서 대봐요. 괜히 상놈 이놈. 소랑 대다가 톡거려 대나 와사기를 제출이. 그리고 괜히 찍라. 톡 산지에 꼭 괜히 송담 꼴줘 선가 참고요. 대다고 치는 때는 그 고모 까마지 야 칼라 칸줄 때래요. 뒤에 소랑 집이죠. 가리도 그럴 때가 많은 과다니고 싶지 삼지 삼았다는 또 무보라 말에 생을 알아야지. 그게 생겨서 그러와. 생겨들면 생겨들니 또 찌와 똑지 버려야지. 찌와 설아요. 찌와 변이를 버려야지. 되게 생대 생지자면 뒤섬지 사지기 잡조리 버려요. 닭을 싸면 또 대박. 리치고 또 되는. 그 공부하다 뒤섬지 사지에서 싸바치 버리면 뒤더더니 잠내 초도 줘봐. 초도 시행 당시도 예능을 토로래. 예능 바로 토로래. 사지 주당 예능 선가다 무슨 것을 좋아하고 예능이 대원들이 주토 시파기 대를 작전도와 탐시가 긴신 보리게 대를티니 탑 망을 가라매 봐. 대를티니 주주 가라매 봐 타들. 나로 통로 용로를 나서고 산지가 탑만 벌더니 생기답니다. 탑을 사용 약해요래. 주토도 주로 가래인가 주토 가래인가 다시 버려야지. 대회 대하고는 들이 소리 신사사를 해야지. 들이 소소를 대파다야지. 저리 들이 드랭드랑 소리 삼자를 해야지.
And so then having accumulated the merit, then what is the result of that? So just as it is said in the long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, it says, "You are the source of all benefit and happiness." And so it is the Buddha's teachings that are the source of all benefit and happiness. And so first, as a basis of receiving all benefit and happiness, we have obtained the precious human body. And we also experience some happiness. Sometimes we might not have any sickness or be happy, not be in misery mentally. the slightest forms of the smallest forms of happiness actually all are given to us by the three jewels. So how come that the three jewels are the ones who give us all our happiness? It is because first the Buddha had taught the Dharma. The Dharma is a path of love and compassion. That is the Dharma. And then whoever practices love and compassion will have happiness as a result, just naturally. So the Dharma we must understand as love and compassion. And this is how the jewels gave us our happiness, because the Dharma is compassion. So if we do anything with love, there will be happiness. For example, when there is love, then we practice ethical conduct. And as a result of that, we will obtain a precious human body. Or we practice patience, and we will have a long life and a beautiful appearance and so on. Or we will practice generosity, and we will have perfect wealth. So all the happiness of the higher realms in a human existence really comes from love and compassion, all those things that we do with love and compassion. So the Buddha taught the Dharma, and the Dharma is love and compassion. And when we have compassion, then whatever we do with our body and speech will lead to happiness. And this is how the jewels gave us our happiness. Because, for example, if we do anything with a mind of hatred or jealousy, it is impossible that that will lead to happiness. It cannot lead to happiness. And we can understand that by looking just at the nature of those emotions, actually. When we look at the nature of love, we can see how it has the nature of happiness, how it can bring happiness. So all our happiness comes from these actions that we have engaged in with love and compassion. And that is why the three jewels really have given us all our happiness. Because through them we have understood the basic workings of karma. And even if somebody doesn't understand karma or trust in karma, some being, for example an animal, because they have some seeds of love and compassion in their heart, they might be born anywhere in the six realms, for example an animal, but because there is this seed of love, they are a very pleasing animal. For example, a bird with a beautiful voice, or a very beautiful animal, something that is very pleasing, not frightening. And that is because it has this propensity of love and compassion. And that leads to even the slightest happiness, like being born as a beautiful bird. On the other hand, also an animal could take on a different form depending on the affliction. If the mind is very afflicted with hatred and so on, it could also appear as a poisonous snake or a scorpion. As we have said, we are the reflections of our inner thoughts, our inner emotions. And so nothing happens by chance, but it all follows the force of karma. So karma is like the seed cause that drives and leads to a certain result. So therefore we must understand the causes that will then lead to certain results. And so we have understood that the cause of all future happiness is love and compassion. And so then the Dharma becomes a method, a way to cultivate that. And there are basically three methods corresponding to the three levels of the path of Pratimoksha, Bodhisattva, and Vajrayana vehicles in order to cultivate love. In order to cultivate love where it has not arisen, we practice the four thoughts according to the Pratimoksha. And then secondly, for the love that has arisen not to decline, we practice the Bodhisattva path, the 6 paramitas. And then for the love to ever further increase, we practice Vajrayana, secret mantra. And so the center is such a place that represents the jewels, this path, that gives this path. So that is why it becomes like the eyes or the heart of all people. And at the center there is the Sangha that teaches us that, shows us that. And so what is the benefit and the good quality of a Sangha? Even if we only give the refuge vow to a single person, or even if one only offers to a single Sangha, it is just like making offerings to all the Sangha of the 3 times, because they are one. So therefore, it doesn't really make a difference whether this is, we call it a good or a bad Sangha member, but the way we intend when we make an offering, that is where the merit comes from. So the Sangha is the one that shows us the path, the Dharma, and to accumulate merit. So it comes, as you have said, from a right intention. And if we have this right way of viewing, and even if we just make a small offering, even if it is $1 or if it is a spoonful of food, if we think that may this benefit all mother sentient beings limitless as space, then it becomes a vast offering to all the Sangha. So it does not depend on the material offering that we make, but it depends on our mental intention. Everything is made by the mind. So that is the power of love. And who has this love? It is the Sangha who has this love. And the Sangha is the one who represents all the Buddha, all the Dharma, and all the Sangha of the 3 times. So we accomplish our aspiration when we make these offerings by virtue of 3 powers. There is the power of your own intention, your own faith. And then secondly, there is the power of all the Buddhas. That is, this one Sangha has the same intention as all the Buddhas of the 3 times. Therefore, any Sangha becomes a supreme assembly, a supreme source of refuge or offerings. So the Sangha is the one that we actually directly relate to, who teaches us the Dharma and therefore is extremely kind to us. So what we are taught is the many different methods that are accomplished without much difficulty in a secret mantra. And also the Buddha has given many more methods and skillful means to liberate sentient beings. For example, there is the liberation by seeing or by wearing or by tasting. And all of these plant the seeds of liberation. And all of these we obtain at the center. And that is why the center is so precious. So we can understand the center to be such a field of accumulation, of accumulating the causes of happiness. So we stop the instructions here for this morning.
当我们能够累积功德之后，果报是怎么样呢？我们在念回向文的时候，念到达赖喇嘛尊者的时候，讲到说他是一切利益安乐之生处。那当我们能够这样子的时候，我们就可以为众生带来无比的利益以及快乐。当我们也可以得到人生。那有些人讲说，那可是我有时候还是会生病，还是会有痛苦啊。这个其实是短暂的。那么我们应该知道，快乐之相或快乐之源，其实就是来自于三宝，也就是佛法僧。那这三宝是非常的慈悲的。当我们修持慈悲的时候，自然就能够得到快乐。在法讲到的几个不同的层次，当我们修持戒的时候呢，我们得人生，珍贵的人生。当我们能够修持安忍或者是忍辱的时候，我们得到长寿跟健康。当我们修持布施的时候，自然而然就财富宽裕富有。另外呢，这个我们如果说是能够修持慈悲的话，就是一个具有法的一个人呢，一切一个行止都是能够导向快乐的。 当一个人充满了嗔恨跟嫉妒的时候，或者是他的行为是从这些方向为出发点的时候，他是没有办法得到真正的快乐的。快乐是三宝所教的，主要是以慈悲为主。那么我们在修法的时候，以了解因果业力这个作为出发点。如果说一个有慈悲一个有慈悲心的，即使是受生成下山道的时候，它生出来也是非常愉悦的一个动物，让人心生欢喜的一个动物。那一个如果是有非常强烈的烦恼的一个心的话，这个众生将来有可能投生成一个毒蛇或者是蝎子的，因为这些动力都往往是从被业来推动的，有因而导致到相对应的果。所以很重要的是，我们应该了解各种事情的因，然后我们未来如果要升到善道的话，我们就要开始长养我们的慈悲心。至于法呢，讲到三圣的法，声闻缘觉圣、菩萨圣或者是金刚圣。在声闻缘觉圣的，我一般讲在皈依的时候，愿生者愿生，就是修的是转心视思维，或者是那么菩萨圣讲的是要修的是慈悲，就是这个以生起者不退失。那么到金刚圣，我们修的是密咒，那这个让我们的能够修持能够更增长。那一个中心呢的成立这成员就是僧伽，他有什么样的利益？他们有什么样的功德呢？当一个人给予一个人受皈依戒的时候，那而我们去供养这个僧伽，就好像我们供养了三世的过去、现在、未来三世的所有僧一样。可能有时候你会想说，那僧伽有好的呀，有不好的。可是当我们供养的时候，就是事实上就是一个利益的一个源头。僧伽很重要的一个定义是具有利他之心的。那么以这样子的出发点的话，当我们供养一个僧伽，就是供养所有三世的这个三宝。那或者是说有一个有慈爱心的人呢，就是一个僧伽。那我们要达成我们的这个祈愿的时候，要仰赖什么呢？有自己的自利，主要是讲我们的发心、我们的动机，或者是仰赖佛力，是因为佛是我们无上的皈依处。那么僧伽呢，是可以让我们平常生活中可以直接互动的，可以教导我们的，所以从这点而言，他对我们是非常的慈悲的。除此之外，佛陀也透过种种的方便，教导我们许多不同的解脱法，比如说见解脱，在中心你们看到很多见解脱咒等等的，那这也是一些方便的法门。所以中心有这么多的一些资粮可能性，都是非常珍贵，是我们福田累积功德资粮的福田所在。今天早上我们开始就到这里。
参加，thank you，谢谢。